This week on Outdoor Oklahoma, we showcase an organization whose whole goal is to help recruit and mentor young hunters. Follow along and watch these kids experience their first deer hunt, which hopefully sparks a chain reaction of lifelong memories to come. From the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife Conservation, Outdoor Oklahoma. Well, hello and welcome to Outdoor Oklahoma. I'm Todd Craighead, and today I'm joined by Lance Meek, our Hunter Education Coordinator. Thanks for joining me, Lance.
Glad to be here.
You know, as the Hunter Education Coordinator, obviously you see a tremendous importance in our education program. But I guess even you would agree that another element that every hunter needs is someone to show them the ropes too.
You know, I think hunter education, I think everybody, whether it's required or not, I think it's a great idea to go to a hunter education class. And you're right, it's a great first step. You can go into a hunter education class and you can learn the knowledge that you need in order to be a safe and ethical hunter. It's still up to you to apply that knowledge. And one thing that can be a great help is to find yourself a mentor. You know, and it doesn't have to be a parent or a grandparent, and although that was mine, and it probably was for you too. But it can be a neighbor or a friend, or somebody you meet at your hunter ed class or something like that.
Well, you know, there was an organization that started up a few years ago that realized there was a need to try to hook mentors up with young people that did not have a mentor in their lives. And so the Oklahoma Youth Hunting and Shooting Program was born a few years ago, and today we're going to take a look at the tremendous good that they're doing across our state.
I'm here because I have two wonderful children that expressed an interest in learning more about hunting. So I got on the internet and started Googling up any hunting and youth, anything I could find on hunting and youth associations in Oklahoma, and I came across the Oklahoma Youth Hunting and Shooting.
Me and my little brother, we got picked to be one of the kids to be able to hunt, and we're just out here hunting, and it's really cool. My dad's busy with his work, and so this came up, so he let me go on hunting with my mom and all of the others.
And I was told, we've got some kids that need an experienced hunter, somebody that's had some time in the woods like you have. Would you mind giving us one day? Would you mind coming out with us just one time and share some of your skills? You can't do it one time. And each time we give this gift to another child, the give back gives me more passion to share with more. So it's contagious.
And that's really why we have Hunters Ed right now, to teach that, because there's a generation in there we lost sort of that bonding between a parent and a child in an outdoor environment. For whatever reason. So that group were not taught like my age group were by parents or grandparents.
The Hunter Safety course is just a great beginning place. It gives that basic level of instruction, and certainly its focus is on safe handling of firearms. But that's all it is a beginning point. There's a lot of knowledge that comes into play in pursuing this stuff, and just learning how to safely handle a firearm is just the beginning. It's not Walt Disney out here. This is the real world, and everything has its own life cycle, and the more you know about that, the more you'll understand what's really going on out here and be able to pursue game effectively.
We have the opportunity here to have several different things. One of the keys that I thought was so good about coming to the Woods Ranch is that they have the equestrian facility. And the fellow that runs that, when I was here a couple of months ago, says, well, if you have the time, we'll give the kid pilot lessons. Well, that's exciting. He said, yeah, in the equestrian shop, that's where you start, is a pilot's lessons. A pilot's lesson. I don't understand. He says you pile that manure in that pile and then you get to ride. And so that is what we do now. We're gonna go hunting here in a couple of hours, kids. Who has earned the right to hunt? And they look at each other like, well, I was invited. I said, no, 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 you're invited to be here. Now to go hunt, we've got dishes, we've got cooking, we've got cleaning.
We're about to go up to the blind and just wait for some deer to come up.
Yeah.
Last night, about 5 o'clock in the evening, I had the pleasure of sitting with my daughter in a blind and with a wonderful guide, John, our guide, and he did a dry run with my daughter on the use of the rifle or the gun that they were using.
It all boils down to this whole process culminates in a single shot. And we have a responsibility to that game animal to make that shot as perfect as possible. And that boils down to the basic elements of placing an accurate shot with a rifle. So while we're in the blind, just to reinforce the lessons that they've learned on the range, we get into the blind as early as we can so that everyone can get settled in. And while we're kind of waiting for that prime time of game movement to come in, we'll work with the kids and go through the steps again and get them comfortable with the equipment and get all the shuffling and moving and readjusting and all that out of the way we can, and try to make that one perfect shot that is the goal of this whole process.
We sat till approximately 7 o'clock, maybe, right at dusk. And as we sat, we saw some just wonderful, spectacular views of Oklahoma.
And we had, after a little while, we had a doe come in to the far right of our blind that apparently noticed that there was a deer blind there that wasn't there the last time it came into that field. So its senses were on pretty high alert. And that's the point where we actually loaded a round of ammunition into the chamber of the rifle.
First of all, we saw this nice doe, but right whenever I put my shells in, it ran off.
And that unnatural metallic click of the bolt closing and the safety going on spooked that one enough to where she vacated the premises. But that pretty well put everybody on high alert that, okay, we're serious about this now, and there's a high likelihood of something happening. Pretty much right at sundown, we had a set of 4 does come in from basically right in front of us that were coming towards the blind, and you could tell that they were catching something in the wind, because pretty much every one of them at one point or another had her nose up in the air sniffing big time, and they were looking at the blind pretty hard, but apparently decided it wasn't an issue.
After a while, We see this doe emerge right there in front of me.
Actually, the nicer one of the 4 came out into the lead and into an open spot and presented a nice broadside, and I told Brooke that that's your shot if you're going to take it, and she just made a perfect shoulder shot that and harvested her first deer. When she made the shot, we stayed in the blind for a while because basically once the bullet impacted, the doe kind of spun and ran into the heavy grass back out into the open field that we had been scouting.
She got it spot on, right on the mark. I was so proud of her.
I just shot my first doe, and we're gonna go find it out in the pasture of tall grass. It's gonna be fun.
And we got just the rest of the group there about 15 minutes after she shot it, and they were so excited for her. Everyone got out there and combed that field of high grass and thick brush, and they found it for her, and she got her first doe, and I am just tickled pink about it.
We were about to give up until some more people came up, and we finally found her. Oh, we just found my doe that we were basically about to give up until they arrived.
All right.
Thank you.
Did you shoot them in the same spot I shot mine?
I was gonna shoot, no, it was facing toward the chest. So I was at the chest, but then right whenever my mom, I shot it, or
Congratulations, you all.
it turned.
Nice. All right.
See, I told you it turned.
Good job.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Well,
Great
sir.
shot. Can't say you never give up, but you certainly don't without spending every available resource to track down a dead or wounded animal. Because it's all back to, we're all part of that bigger cycle. And in my mind, we owe it to that animal. I mean, you've just killed something for the purpose of putting it in the freezer and feeding your family. And if nothing else, you owe it the respect of expending every possible effort to make sure that that life wasn't wasted.
Yeah, I have a son, and I was really expecting that, hoping that today I'd go out with him and I could see him get his first doe. And Bo got that deer right on the mark too. So both of my children, I'm very fortunate, both of my children got 2 doe last night, beautiful doe. And they're just tickled pink, and they got right in the action, and they helped gut it and skin it, and just like it's secondhand, you know, just like they've done it all their life.
And I know the youth will remember their first harvest as I have remembered my first harvest, and that was like 60 years ago, 70 years ago. It's a memory that to me is cherished. So you're building memories, and they're good memories.
Got some does off the place. Kids got them first deer, and that's what it's all about.
It was a really good time. Even for the ones that didn't get the deer, they had a good time.
Nothing better. Roller coasters don't even get enough for adrenaline rush. You know, this goes way beyond a roller coaster or any kind of ride you've ever been on.
I want to thank my mom for letting me come down here and having fun and let me enjoy this.
It was a great opportunity, and I had fun shooting my first deer.
Thanks, Dad, for bringing me out here and having a great time.
After supper Saturday night, we have a campfire, and everybody around in the group gets up and discusses how they became involved with the group, what they've learned and on a specific hunt?
This is my fourth year doing it, and I do a lot of hunts every year personally, but this is the funnest hunt that I do every year. Taking these kids hunting, seeing them shoot first deer, it's the funnest thing I do every year.
The one common denominator is the fact that you have, in a lot of cases, a parent bonding with a kid where they've been involved in working 2 jobs and don't spend enough time trying to make a living for the family, but they're losing that other valuable time bonding with their children. And in a lot of cases, it's a reverse. A child is excited that they're being able to spend time with their parent who has been working 2 jobs. So you'll get a lot of emotions in these meetings, and it's very moving.
The Oklahoma Youth Hunt Shooting Program is statewide. This one happens to be the largest because of the facility. We have 10 hunters. We actually had 120 qualified hunters this season. We have only probably 35 out, and I think we're on 7 different ranches today. The bottleneck, the thing that keeps us from doing 120, are volunteers. We need experienced hunters, and we could fill as many as we needed. The screening is very, very tough. The background check is very, very tight. And it's not just casual, random people that stop by that get to be involved in the program. It takes dedication, and it takes an absolute spotless background. You don't have to be an attorney, though we have several. You don't have to be a captain of industry, though we do have a few. You don't have to be a photographer or a writer, though we have those as well. You have to have a passion, you have to have a clean background, and we never let our volunteers go with a hunter without a guardian involved. So once you make it into the program, it's fabulous. When my kids left the house and I needed to expand my hunting into something that I could share the passion more, this fit perfectly, and that's what we look for now. We look for more volunteers. It would be surprising that we couldn't grow this to 400 or 500 kids a season with enough volunteers. If you've been as lucky as I have, and were raised in a hunting and fishing family, and you've gone through shotgun and rifle and bow, and you're looking for that next step, that step is sharing. That next step is giving that passion to somebody else. If you're a parent of a kid that cannot find a way to find the uncle or the grandpa to take you, give us a call. We are that avenue. We're experienced hunters, we're dedicated people to the outdoors, and we'd love to share that with you. And if you have the same background that we do and you want to share your passion, you owe it to yourself to give us a call, because this will not only change a kid's life and their family's life, it will change your life. Come on out with us. We could use your help.
Our district's very unique for the fact that we encompass about 1/3 of the population of the state in this district. It runs through the central region here from, say, Stillwater, Payne County, all the way to the Red River by Marietta. Like I said, because we have basically 1/3 of the population of the state, it keeps my wardens very active. Because of the populated areas, it's very unique to me, the fact that we have good deer populations in all the counties. Even here in the Oklahoma County area, some extremely large bucks. We have really very little public lands. We have probably the closest to anyone here in the Oklahoma City area would be Lexington Public Hunting Area, between Lexington and Noble. We have like Arcadia Lake, like Carl Blackwell, Arbuckle, Murray Lake, Thunderbird Lake, so a lot of fishing opportunity, besides lots and lots of ponds. I like my district for the diversity of the people. We have city people, we have farmers, we have hunters. Very unique. We have the 2 major colleges, Oklahoma State University, and we have OU. So it gives a lot of diversity with the people that we deal with. I'd like to invite everyone to come to District 5, and we'd like to enjoy the opportunities that we have here for you.
Well, Lance, as we mentioned, hunter education is one of those vital steps in becoming a hunter.
Well, I sure think so, Todd. You know, I agree. It's really important. You know, you can purchase an apprentice license in some cases, and that makes the mentor even more important. It's actually required by law.
Right.
But I think whether you purchase that apprentice license or not, you should take a hunter education class. And you know, it's easier than ever these days. It's free. You know, you've got 3 different options for that. You can take the traditional 8-hour class. You can take a home study class where you do some of the work at home and then you only have to come to 4 hours of class. And you can actually take the entire class. If you're an Oklahoma resident, 10 years of age or older, you can take the entire class online these days.
That's great.
It is. And you know, I'd say anybody out there, if you're already a hunter, you need to take somebody new hunting this year. Be a mentor yourself.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We encourage you to connect with us on Facebook and Twitter and keep up with your wildlife department. We'll see you right here next time on Outdoor Oklahoma.